Hello and welcome to the show both feared and revered by man and beast, the heliosblog. Today, Hasan talks about propaganda. Let's get into it.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Media that upset you? Yeah, I've already watched this. It's very upsetting. But not even because it's like triggering or frustrating or anything. Like I get very frustrated when I see someone saying like incredibly unhinged shit, right? I get very mad when I see someone quote
Hasan says unhinged crap all the time.
tweet like Rashida Tlaib, for example, to tell her what an emancipatory slogan that Palestinians have used for 56 years, what that actually means. And there's some sinister hidden meaning actually secretly saying we need to genocide the Jews. Like that's what the real reason is. Like that triggers the fuck out of me.
That's crazy. And obviously we're not going to get into that.
The other hand is like a nuke. This is like a nuclear bomb went off in my brain. It shut my brain off when I watched it. And I don't understand how SNL, being incredibly cringe, still clears this program. Colombia anti-Semity.
Hi everyone, we are live on YouTube with Colombia Anti-Semity News, where everyone is welcome. LGBTQH.
H?
Hamas.
Yeah, I totally sim Hamas.
Yeah.
It's so trending right now.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Do you know why it's true? Because it rhymes. Just look at all this toxic Zionist propaganda. Kidnapped in Gaza. Does this look like Gaza to you?
Yeah, bro, I have no idea what Gaza looks like.
And they're smiling. Do hostages smile? Zionist liars.
Totally sus.
Do they think we're stupid?
Stupid? I major in queer post-colonial astrology. Ew.
I love that.
Disaster. It's really funny because this is not so far from the truth. It's just the topic is maybe skewed. But basically this describes a lot of people that are just totally brainwashed and don't actually think for themselves. They unironically act like this. This is, obviously this is an ironic portrayal, right? But that some people unironically act like this and are that steeped in whatever this culture is called. I don't even know what this culture is called. Is nuts to me.
The actual like legitimate distaste for queer presentation in general that just seeps out of this too. You know what I mean? Like this entire sketch is supposed to signal to the world like, well, look at this classic contradiction. Like Hamas, they would kill all the gays, right? They would kill.
Ah, right. Yeah, I didn't even, Yeah, right. I didn't even think to bring up this connection, but it's hilarious, right? But wasn't it Jordan that said something along the lines of they're just not very sophisticated, right? And so because they're not very sophisticated, they have trouble seeing that things are not black and white and they're actually gray, and that siding with either side in this in this conversation is kind of insane. Siding with one side out of, I guess, principle, or I don't even know if the word principle even applies here, is nuts.
all the gays. That's what they would do. And all these dumb gay people in America are defending Hamas. They love Hamas. They're supporting Hamas because they're so stupid. Now, it's obviously ridiculous. Solidarity with people who are subjected to cruel and unusual punishments should not be on the conditions that they agree with you. You should have a moral backbone that goes beyond that. I guess for reactionaries in general, this is like an unimaginable concept because for them, they're like, you know, what do you mean? I only defend people who defend me immediately. Like that's it. Secondly, it also
What? Sorry, I don't even understand what Hasan is saying. It's so like steeped in slang or like political jargon that I have trouble even understanding what he's saying.
makes it seem as though like Israel's solution to the gay Palestinians is better, which is to eviscerate them with bombs.
Jews make the world dirty.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm racist fluid.
Exactly. And now for a little break from all this activism, we want to say hello to our BFF,
Bestie freedom fighter.
Abu Fatwa in Gaza. Salam alaikum.
Alaykum as-salam, and inshallah, Allah will kill you all infidels.
Thank you so much for joining us. Love the headpiece, the all oppression chic. Very drip.
Mr. Fatwa, how are you? Are you safe?
Oh yes, I'm safe. I'm in a tunnel under the Gaza hospital. Above me, I have Allah and 2 million civilians protecting me.
Community is so important these days.
Oh my lord, what is this? This is actually insane, guys. What is this? My lord. I can't believe that this is actually the reality we're living in. This is 2023.
Do you need like humanitarian aid, food, fuel, medicine?
It's okay, I have everything. I'm only hungry for rockets.
As long as it's organic.
Yeah.
I wish I just could be there with you.
You can come to Gaza anytime and we will throw you from the roof.
Yeah, sick, dude. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on. Stop this, please. No, you need to watch this to develop a better understanding, okay? Liberal comedy is very important. Liberal comedy is very important to unlock the consciousness of an entire population. This is an SNL, thankfully. Yeah, no, it's just a projection of their pure, unadulterated racism. So that's number one. Like,
Yes, right. Anyone that doesn't that doesn't support your side, they're racist. I understand. Okay. Clearly.
I mean, it's not even funny, though. That's the problem. Because I don't think you can, like, get this racist and be funny at the same time. It's just, like, it's not happening. This is, like, 2 steps from SNL would do, no doubt. Sure. But many Americans will look to this and recognize that this is literally like a Steven Crowder sketch. It's just so bad. Yes, this was made by the Israeli SNL. By the way, the Columbia Law Students for Palestine group wrote for the Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch for over a decade advocating for the recognition of the Israeli apartheid. We worked super hard. Al-Haq was our partner in Gaza in the West Bank. Sorry for the spam, Habibi. Yeah, I'm proud of you guys for pushing. And then the dam broke on that end. Why is it in English if it's the Israeli SNL? Why was it?
They speak English, that's why.
It made in English. What do you mean? This is literally for guys. At what point will you recognize that Israeli propaganda does not have to exist for a broad majority of the Israeli population?
Right, it's actually targeted towards Americans, right? That's the point. It won't have as much reach if it's in, Hebrew?
Israeli propaganda has to exist for the Western world because without the Western world's unconditional support, without, for example, America constantly fucking vetoing any kind of UN Security Council commitment or condemnation, Israel would not be able to behave in the way that it does. This is something that you have to understand. Settler Night Live is crazy. Yeah. If there was a sketch comedy TV in the 1930s, and Nazis would have been doing shit exactly like this. I mean, I think they did do that. There probably was shit like
You
that
homosexual dirf.
Do you hear? Bro, want to throw me a rooftop party?
They are so welcoming and inclusive.
So shukran. And you are also very welcome to come here to America.
We will come. First we finish with Israel. And America is next.
I love this. He's like, we're gonna come to America. Like, we're gonna finish Israel and then we're gonna come to America. Like, Hamas is gonna attack America, dude.
Great! So, I guess we'll see you soon.
Yes, it.
Now, the question is the following. How would this be propaganda targeted at the United States when it shows the United States as being idiots? Are people of the US supposed to look at this and be like, yes, we agree with this message? I don't even understand. Like, it seems to me in the skit that the so-called Americans are siding with the Palestinians. Well, not really the Palestinians. It's the, you know, the organization, the sketchy organization. And the organization is saying that they hate Americans. But isn't America on Israel's side? Oh, okay, now I understand. So what's the idea? Is it to signal that Hamas is dangerous to America? And so America should continue to support Israel? Is that the purpose of this thing? Like, because it is simultaneously insulting Americans too. And I mean, a lot of Americans are actually woke and stupid like this too. So I don't understand. Are they supposed to find it funny that it's a spoof of themselves? I fail to see how this is funny. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. Maybe I didn't understand what the purpose of this was. Okay, anyway.
It would be a blast.
Can't wait. It'll be so multicultural.
Yeah. Who would laugh at this? Extremely racist people. Like, incredibly racist people. In order for this humor to work for you, you have to have the exact same positions as these people and maybe even more racist than they are. Like, you have to be in the intersection of, like, just enough homophobia, just enough resentment for college campus activists, and, of course, a metric ton of Islamophobia in general to be like, to look at this and go, this is hilarious. To me, it's like the grossest offense of this is that it's not funny. You know what I mean? How is it racist? They're talking about terrorists, not Palestinians. Come on, brother. Come on. You have a dude here. Like, this is such a Sam Harris 2004 take. I feel like I feel like I'm getting whiplash. Like, you're one step removed from being like, actually, Islam is a religion, not a race. Like, I have to go back to like the same 2-decade-old arguments about how like Islamophobia is racialized and how, like, for example, my name is Hasan, but most people, if they didn't know what my name was, would not perceive me as like a Muslim person. Whereas like the first victim of Islamophobic hate crimes in the aftermath of 9/11 was a Sikh person. You know what I mean? Like all this like, do we have to work through all of this? Really? Like, you were that hardwired to jump to this? Like, the notion that Hamas is coming to America is ridiculous.
Ya Allah, you are so stupid.
Thank you so much, Abu. We love you.
I won't even bother killing you. It's a waste of bullets.
Good vibes only.
It's better you just kill yourself.
Okay, bye.
Disaster.
Bye.
Die.
Die. This is Ahmed the dead terrorist, bro. Like, straight up. You're a dumb. If you literally look to something like Ahmed the dead terrorist and go, what's Islamophobic about this? Like, what's anti-Arab about this? That's just a terrorist. That's not a human. That's not like Muslims, dog. I've been dying for you to watch this.
Okay. Again, like, oh, so was the point of it to paint all Palestinians this way? Again, maybe I'm removed from what I'm supposed to believe, but I don't see that. I actually do just see a sketchy, guy from a sketchy organization. I don't see all people from that country as being that way, or that is the point of the whole, like, exercise. I don't... Okay, anyway. Though I did see the university students as being all Americans, so maybe I'm also out to lunch here.
This video? Okay, sure, I'll watch this video.
1945. World War II is finally over. Europe is filled with tens of millions of refugees. 2 years later, Great Britain lost control of Southeast Asia. India and Pakistan win independence, and 7 million Muslim refugees exchange places with 7 million Hindi refugees. Today,
I don't get it. What the fuck does that have to do with Israel? What's happening here? What does this have to do?
not one of these people is a refugee. Not one. They have integrated into their host countries and built new lives. And then
motherfucker's like, hey, I'll have you know, in 1919, there was also a border swap between Greece and Turkey, and they were not considered refugees no more. And it's like, yeah, okay, fine. Really gruesome process in general, but also still, the fuck does this have to do with Israel? Like, I don't get it. It wasn't 1919, but it was around that time. I don't fucking remember exactly when it was. God damn it, it's my own goddamn personal history, and I don't know.
In 1947, the United Nations presented a partition plan.
This is Israel's Foreign Affairs Ministry. Okay. Israel's Foreign Affairs Ministry.
For the Jewish homeland. The Arabs gave a resounding no to that plan.
Yeah, I wonder why, dude. I wonder why. Because most of the...
You don't want your own territory to be split. Big surprise. Huge surprise. So, okay, so I understand. They made this video using the old school American accent. Is this an attempt at revisionist history? Is that the point of this? Very interesting. Yeah, you guys really have to be, like, critical thinkers and, like, really watch out what you're watching. Like, this is, like, dangerous, right? Like, these are, like, what is this, like little targeted missiles at free thought and you know, understanding of history. It is very, again, from an outsider's perspective, it is simultaneously interesting and sad and scary.
The people at this point, the Jewish population is 33% of the people living on that land. They are seen as like settler colonialists, which they are. They are engaging in a settler colonialist project. And who is doing the settler colonial project? The motherfucking British that claimed that they were going to give a national piece of land to the Palestinians for collaborating with them against the Ottoman Empire. So yeah, of course they're going to be like, no, dog, we don't want this. You told us we could have our land. I thought that's what was going on. What do you mean? And in that 1947 partition plan, at the end of the day, the 33% population of newcomers who are Jewish end up getting 55% of the population. Anyway.
They rejected a state for themselves if it meant also giving a state to the Jews. 6 Arab states attacked the fledgling Jewish
just out of nowhere, this is what happened.
Which was small but plucky and determined to...
Oh my lord, this is so obviously propaganda. Okay, this is obviously, obviously, right? I mean, it is their foreign department, so not really surprising here, I guess.
In the meantime, many of the Arab inhabitants left their homes because of the war and the promise by Arab leaders that the Jews would be defeated quickly. They plan to return when...
Okay, so there is some level of truth to this, okay? No, there is some level of truth to this. Some people did think, or actually most people, did think that they were going to get back their homes, okay? That part is true. It's just a very gross way to cover the story by refusing to recognize most of these like Arab villages had by this point had created their own, like either they had like a barely a standing, not even a militia, but just like some arms, small arms, because they had been disarmed by the British occupying force at the time, as opposed to the standing military that the Zionists had, Haganah, with like more than 100,000. So of course it's not true. The only part of it that is true is the part of it that the part where there were definitely people that thought that they were gonna come back to their houses once they left.
When they won the war and the Jews had been thrown into the sea.
I like the idea that they won the war and the Jews were thrown into the sea.
To their great surprise, they lost. Several 100,000 Arabs had become...
They lost. Yeah, bullshit. Like that he started off with 1947 instead of talking about the Nakba, because yes, technically the expulsions predate the Nakba. The Nakba is just the most significant form of it, the most militarized form of it, because it accompanied like the British completely pulling out at that point. However, leading up to the Nakba, there was constant back and forth fighting. amongst Arab villagers who did not have as many weapons or anything like that against a very well-trained standing army. Like these are not just these were not.
It was army versus civilians, because when you want something to happen, you don't just say it, right? You bring in the army and say it, as they say. You and what army?
Not just like random people. In many instances, people try to act like, you just had like Holocaust survivors like grab up arms and get killed, and it was a big war against all these Arab nations. It's like bullshit. And also, the reason why this video refuses to even say the word Nakba is because they want to cover it as though like a war broke out. I make videos about history and facts continues to lie. I mean, this is the Israeli government. Of course it's a lie. Of course it's like, all of it is a lie. This is akin to like a Turkish government video talking about Armenian genocide being a lie, okay? It's the same shit. I think like me being...
Again, it's not really surprising for the side that wants their story to be told in a biased way. As they say, history is written by the winners. We know this.
Turkish, growing up in Turkey, learning about Armenian genocide as being like objectively a lie is the way they cover it in school. This is the way that I've been taught. 100% gives me like a unique perspective on this that most people will not be able to understand. So I get it. Like it's almost identical. The way that Israel talks about the Nakba is identical to the way that Turkey talks about the Armenian genocide, except the difference is Israel's a much more important and valuable ally to the United States. So like they can get away with just straight up lying about everything.
Refugees. Later.
Well, it's not like the United States doesn't have a bit of revisionist history either, right? Again, for the same reason, history is written by the winners. Just look at how, look up a certain Manhattan Project if you want to understand what I'm talking about and how people see it.
Later on, they would be called Palestinian refugees. On the other
it's disgusting.
hand, at about the same time, 850,000 Jews were forced out of their homes all over the Middle East. They had lived in the Arab world for thousands of years.
I like this propaganda because like it literally, first of all, there's multiple waves of immigration that occur throughout this time frame because of different Arab countries having their own post-colonial movements, which also engages in like Jewish violence and pushing them out of their countries to go to Israel. But it's funny that he's saying this because this video in and of itself, unironically, if you know anything about the Nakba, if you know anything about like the forcible expulsion of Palestinians from their homes, makes it seem like the only reason why Jews were expelled from their homes is because of a reaction to the Nakba, which is true. That part is true, obviously. But it predates, like Jewish immigration into Israel from Arab countries also predates the Nakba as well. So in a weird way, it ends up muddying the waters in a way that like benefits someone who is trying to make a wrong argument, claiming that.
Interesting. Again, guys, I'm far from an expert in this realm, but it's very interesting. Again, if you study history at all, you know that it's a total mess. This, to me, sounds like a total mess.
The only reason why Jews were expelled from Arab countries is specifically because of a reaction to Israel and its nation state being formed.
But when the Arabs were defeated and the state of Israel was established, it was too much for the Arab regimes.
Yeah, I mean, what part of this doesn't sound like propaganda?
And they show
a lot of it was immigration and not expulsion. Yes, a lot of it was immigration, but to say that it wasn't a consequence of like anti-Jewish violence, like it would be wrong. That I don't agree with. I mean, there was heightened tension even before the Nakba.
Showed their Jews the door. Therefore, you could say that the Arabs and the Israelis exchanged populations.
Oh my God, this is so gross. The Arabs and the Israelis changed populations? God, these people are so racist. Dude, the Palestinians, there is no one united Arab population, just like there is no one united Jewish population.
Accurate. There's no united any population. It's a mixture of a bunch of different groups, like it always was and always has been.
Okay, this does two things. One, attribute the violence that other individual Arab nations in their own national movements, in their own nationalist movements to build a nation state for themselves. It attributes all of that violence to Palestinians. Okay, all Arabs are the same. They're one-track minded. They just hate Jews. Okay. So that's number one. And number two, it makes it seem as though there was like this population transfer that occurred because all the Jews were also one-track minded as well, that they just like kind of swap places. Meanwhile, the Arabs that lived in those nations still live in those nations. The only people that got fucked over in this process are the Palestinians. It's ridiculous.
Much like in Europe after World War II, and much like the Hindus and Muslims.
That's gross. That's gross. Yeah, dude. Yeah, like Moroccan Jews.
Yeah, there was absolutely no conflict that happened in any of these conflicts. They just switched populations. Disaster.
Who's coming into Israel went through the same conditions as the Jews in the Holocaust. Good take. When you're so horny to try to like justify and also avoid talking about like the real genuine violence that you subjected people that lived there to, that you just end up doing a little bit of Holocaust revisionism. You know what I mean? It's not fine, you know, just a little bit. The second thing that this video does, which is what Israel as a government has done that really frustrates me, is the idea that Jews and Arabs are separate. You can't eat hummus and you can't eat falafel and act like that's your own thing while simultaneously being like Jews and Arabs are totally separate. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You can't be running around talking about how you make hummus and then be like Jews and Arabs are different. No, they're not. There are millions of Arab Jews. You fuck you. And every Arab Jew that says that they're not Arab, that there's something different, that is supremacist, okay? That is a supremacist ideal that was instilled upon a population that had to go through a rough integration process to Europeanize themselves a little bit. It's so...
Again, as I said, there is so much political jargon, I have trouble understanding what he's even saying here. Guys, if you understand the gobbledygook, please, in the comments, tell me. Because I'm not kidding when I say I don't understand some of this. It's just too... You would need to be a political science student to understand. It's just got, you know, these textbook terms that I just don't understand. You don't encounter these in everyday life. Okay, anyway, let's end the video there. Hit the like, the sub, hit all for notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom and Bobby, and Dylan. Shoutouts to you. Most recent purchase of Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By. Thank you. My books can be found at bit.ly/heliosbooks. You can go to my Patreon at patreon.com/theheliosblog. And if you want coaching, message me at theheliosblog@gmail.com. I'll slot you right in. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.